everybody in that little stretch is either a super young upside guy or a really huge name that everybody knows is a top guy. DJ Moore doesn't really fit into any of those two categories there. So, like you're saying, he's just
Yeah.
kind of a boring name, just doesn't really get you excited. What's up, Fackers? We are back with our Fantasy and Chill 101, counting down the top 101 fantasy football players for the 2020 season. Number 38 on our countdown is wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, DJ Moore. He is our 14th ranked wide receiver. Last year, he finished as wide receiver number 16. So, a few of his stats last year: he had 87 catches for 1,175 yards and 4 touchdowns on 135 targets. He scored 195 fantasy points, an average of 13 points per game. All right, so he was top 10 in all of these categories last year in routes, targets, receptions, and receiving yards. Top 10 in all of those categories last year. He does kind of have a limited ceiling, I think. This will be his third year in the league. He only has 6 combined touchdowns in his first 2 seasons, so not a big touchdown guy. I think that's probably due, though, because we know who gets most of the Panthers' touchdowns these days. That is Christian McCaffrey. But he does have a touchdown issue. With 135 targets, you can't really complain much there. And we know Cam Newton is gone. Teddy Bridgewater is the new quarterback and a new head coach in Matt Rule, moving on from Ron Rivera. Not really sure how I feel about the coach thing's going to work out. We'll see. Matt Rule coming from Baylor. I actually don't really like the Bridgewater thing. I'm not a big Bridgewater fan. I don't get what people see in him. I just don't like the way he throws the ball. I don't know.
Doesn't look right.
I'm a big Bridgewater fan. I don't see how going from, although Cam Newton was god awful the
Yeah.
Yeah,
last
I
couple of years,
mean,
but I just don't see how Bridgewater is going to improve your receiving. But yeah,
well, the receiving's not the problem. DJ Moore can catch the ball. And what I think is because even last year when Teddy Bridgewater took over Breeze, the Saints really didn't miss a beat. Now, there wasn't those explosive plays, but Michael Thomas didn't fall off at all. He was the in between guy. And what I'm looking at is Carolina added a deep threat in Robbie Anderson. Curtis Samuel still's there, the under guy, but I think DJ Moore, I mean, he only averaged 13 and a half yards per reception. Like his long last year was 50 yards. I think Teddy Bridgewater can make, I don't see Teddy throwing it deep as much, but I
No.
think DJ Moore is going to be a very solid target for Teddy Bridgewater in his first season in Carolina.
Yeah, I'm torn on him. I don't know. I want it. Like, if you wake me up one day and I'm like, yeah, I like DJ Moore, and then the next day I'm like, why the hell am I seeing DJ Moore around these other guys? Like, it's like what
Sure.
doesn't fit. You see like Cortland Sutton, like, yeah, okay, like, yeah, great guy. Calvin Ridley could have a solid game. Juju, solid. AJ Brown, solid. And then you see DJ Moore, and it's just like, I don't know. He doesn't. Some people like to say he doesn't get my day card.
Yeah, he doesn't have that sex appeal.
it's like the last few guys we've done, and really going all the way up to Michael Thomas, who we're going to finish with. Everybody in that little stretch is either a super young upside guy or a really huge name that everybody knows is a top guy. DJ Moore doesn't really fit into any of those two categories there. So, like you're saying, he's just kind of a boring name. Just doesn't really get you excited.
Yeah, but like you were saying, the thing is he finished in top 10 in like tons of categories. And
Yep.
and if we would have told you, like we're telling you right now, and you probably don't believe it because Carolina just wasn't a sexy team last year. It just, besides Chris McCaffrey, that's who you think of when you think of Carolina was McCaffrey. You don't think of these receivers. But I will. You said you don't like Bridgewater, but I think he's got to be better than Cam Newton was and Kyle Allen.
Yeah.
Like, y'all can have Kyle Allen back on A&M.
I don't. More of it just I guess going back to all these teams that were like, oh, who's going to offer Bridgewater the $20 million deal? I just don't really understand it from a quarterback standpoint. I don't think he's a very good quarterback, but
I guess
that's neither here or there.
And then the contested catch rate, 55.6. He was 10th in the NFL last year. So, I mean, that's pretty damn, for only being 5'11", 215, like, that's very solid. I guess his build reminds me of Steve Smith and plays for Carolina too. But
I can see it.
I mean, you can't, like, I get what you're saying, Matt. He doesn't have that sex appeal. DJ Moore is not a sexy name, but his stats don't lie. Almost 90 catches, 1,200 yards. Like, the dude produced in his second season and
with
was pretty
Kyle
damn solid
Allen
in his first season. Yeah, and freaking Cam Newton couldn't hit water if he fell off a boat. And so now Teddy
These
Bridgewater, he's
fucking
going to be more
boomer
accurate.
quotes.
He sat behind, he couldn't hit sand if he fell off a cable. It's just, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is going to be accurate. He played behind Drew Brees. He learned in New Orleans. Like, this is going to be I think DJ Moore is going to be a solid fantasy player this season.
He
Yeah.
is very similar to me. He reminds me of like an Allen Robinson. Kind of checks all the same
Yeah.
boxes. Solid guy on a not very good team, but the name is not. He doesn't have the name value, just like an Allen Robinson.
Okay, but their wide receivers are literally Curtis Samuel and Robbie Anderson. And Curtis Samuel did have some good
Christian
games
McCaffrey.
last year. Well, yeah,
Christian McCaffrey is the number one receiver.
he is the number one receiver, yes. But I mean, DJ Moore has solid value. If he's my wide receiver too on my team, I'm perfectly fine with that. I feel like he has a high floor, but like Keller was saying, he might not have that high ceiling. But if his touchdowns go, like if he just gets 3 more touchdowns, you know what I'm saying? That ceiling jumps way up.
If it comes down to it, with drafting a wide receiver too, like obviously DJ Moore, I have him as wide receiver 14. I understand the numbers where he ranks, but when it comes down to it, are you going to take DJ Moore? Or are you going to see a name like Juju, Devontae Parker, Stephon Diggs, Tyler Lockett? Are you going to pick one of those guys instead? Even though
those guys are giving you higher ceilings.
True.
For sure.
Diggs would be tough, but I think those just come down to the better quarterback, I guess. And like I do like Bridgewater, but I don't like him as much as Russell Wilson or Josh Allen or who's the other guy you named? He had a good quarterback too. Yeah, Big Ben. Oh, yeah.
Fitzpatrick.
The thing is, you don't need to have a good quarterback when they're going to be throwing the ball as much as they are. Their defense is going to take a step back. They lost a few guys on defense, and let's factor this in too. Who they're playing? They're playing the Bucks twice, the Saints twice, and the Falcons twice. Like just think of those offenses right there. They're gonna have to keep up with those offenses. You know how many times they're
the worst team in their division.
Yeah. You know how many times you're gonna be throwing the ball? I was just gonna say they're gonna be throwing the ball a ton.
Yeah, and he has the 3rd easiest wide receiver schedule, if y'all taking that account at all. I do see what you're saying. It is tough to kind of take him. Who I would consider him with is like Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton or DJ Moore? Okay. Because like you said, Keller, I think Thielen, I'm taking him over. Odell, I'll take a chance on him over Moore. AJ Brown, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, probably Calvin Ridley. Then you get to Sutton. I'd probably take Lockett over him. For me, it's like Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, Sutton, DJ Moore.
Yeah.
First of all, don't say you take Calvin Ridley over him because that's just black.
I don't know.
Look, I think we're at least me and Ryan.
I will never understand the Calvin Ridley love and ranking. I'll never understand it. We talked about that 50 guys ago. So
we're probably the lowest out of anyone like I've seen on the internet on Calvin Ridley. At least me and Ryan are. I don't know.
What if I told
you
we
already
Calvin
ranked
Ridley had more touchdowns last year than DJ Moore has had in both of his seasons?
Congrats.
Well, maybe that's why people like him. He's had 17 touchdowns in 2 seasons. Hasn't had over 1,000 yards.
Sounds like a touchdown regression's coming.
Yeah.
All right, are we good here with DJ Moore?
I'll just say, with DJ Moore, if you need 10 points, like a guaranteed 10 points, this is your receiver right here.
Very solid, not sexy.
PPR has more value.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you're in any kind of like point per reception, then DJ Moore definitely shoots up the ladder. Standard, I'll fall a little bit.
All right, DJ Moore, our 14th ranked wide receiver, number 38 overall. We out.
Yep.